Welcome to Bitcoin Blab number one. Today featuring Mad Bitcoins, also known as Thomas Hunt. How's it going, Thomas?
It's going good, Theo.
Great.
Echo.
Okay, so you do the show Mad Bitcoins. When did you start Mad Bitcoins and what was your inspiration?
Well, I started Mad Bitcoins in April of 2013, and what had happened is I'd known about Bitcoins for a long time. I'd read about it on Slashdot. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was internet currency, but I didn't really look into it too much. And when it went to when it went to 13, I thought I missed it. When it went to 30, I thought I missed it. When it went to 250, I really thought I missed it. So I didn't know what else to do about Bitcoin, but I wanted to be involved. I wanted to talk about it and learn more about it. So I started my own show.
All right, great. So that was a daily show. Now you're not doing it every day, but it was a daily show for a long time. How many episodes have you done?
I've done about 600 episodes of Mad Bitcoins.
600 episodes of Mad Bitcoins. That's quite a lot. How many subscribers do you have over there at the Mad Bitcoins channel?
We have about 4,000 subscribers and
That's cool.
12,000 on Twitter.
That's pretty good. That's pretty crazy. 600 episodes
Yeah,
is a lot, in my opinion. That is really a lot.
definitely.
Okay. What's your favorite episode of Mad Bitcoins ever?
Oh, I like the ones where I do speeches. Maybe the one where I do the Big Lebowski and I'm all the different characters, or one of the other ones where I do a lot of characters. Those took a lot of time to do, and I really tried to edit them tightly so that they would work. And I think they do work. It takes a little suspension of disbelief. I'm playing all the characters. I'm not a great actor. I'm not a great costumer or facial mimic or anything. But
You're a
I
good
think they're
actor.
fun.
You're a good actor. So if anyone hasn't
There we
seen
go.
if anyone hasn't seen these videos, I know that we're referencing some videos and maybe not everyone has seen them. If you just go over to madbitcoins.com, you can see I think almost all of the videos. If you just went to YouTube and typed Mad Bitcoins, you would find them too. And it
And
based
what's great about
Mhm.
YouTube is it has the playlists. You can go and watch a playlist. I've made some with just the speeches, some with some of the early episodes. I tried to do some on topics, but they never stay up to date very well. But there is an attempt at giving you a way to watch it because there's way too much to just watch start to finish. Although I've heard people try that. People try to watch it all. People leave it on all day long. Both Mad Bitcoins and the World Crypto Network, which Theo, you're involved in, there's so much video now. There's so much content. If you want to go back to the archives, it's very much available. And that's the great thing about having archives is it builds up. If you keep working on your project, if you keep making one a day, if you keep making one a week, eventually you got quite a few of them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did enjoy actually. I watched some of the really old Mad Bitcoins a while back, and it was funny. You were said, "This is today I'm going to talk about altcoins, Namecoin. This is the Namecoin and this is what it does. And this is another altcoin I discovered, this one." And then there were some other old ones that now we can kind of laugh about just because of what was going on then. So that's what I really like about it because it's kind of documenting not only the news but kind of the feeling at the time. You can see kind of like the a little bit more euphoria when the price was going up like crazy, and a little bit doom and gloom when the price kept on going down too. So and that's interesting. And later in 1 year or a few months, I think we'll look back at that and really notice have a good feeling of what was going on in Bitcoin, not only with the price but just things in general. Um, Okay,
And I
600.
still think that
Mhm, mhm.
it is a good price. Like if you haven't bought Bitcoin yet, there's still a chance for you. A lot of us have made money. A lot of us have lost money. There's still hope, I think, and it's Bitcoin. So you have to try it out.
Yeah, there is hope. I'm not going to give investment advice today, ladies and gentlemen, but there's always hope. Okay, 600 episodes is a lot. You were doing it every day for a long time, and now you've got, quote, real job over at Purse, so you're kind of busy. but you still do Mad Bitcoins, and you do Periscope too, I believe, sometimes. And I just wanted to ask, was there a time when you wanted to stop doing the show, and how did you deal with that? Because it must be frustrating giving so much energy out, and it's a lot of work, and then you don't always get, the you don't always get it back directly. How did you deal with that?
Well, I mean, the show has always just been about trying to talk about Bitcoin and trying to tell more people about it. And as as Bitcoin's gotten bigger, that's kind of happening on its own. Bitcoin is spreading, so that's gratifying. I don't have to really worry as much about Bitcoin spreading. Says on the side, the guy wants me to wear my hat and glasses. We could do that, but that would be like a different interview.
Right. Yeah. This is ladies and gentlemen. Today, you can see what Mad Bitcoins really looks like in the flesh when he doesn't have his mad hat and his big goggles on. This is Thomas Hunt, the one of your alter egos, right? So you got Mad Bitcoins. And
there it is.
Thomas Hunt.
This is Mad Bitcoin's alter ego. So this is not like yeah. But no, did I think about stopping? No, I mean, I like doing it. I think it's fun. I'm the number one fan of Mad Bitcoins. Basically, I thought that there should be a show like this for Bitcoin. So I made a show like this for Bitcoin, and I like this show. So, no, I mean, the only reason I'm not doing it now is just a time scheduling thing. I'm too busy. I'm trying to do some on weekends. I'm trying to do interviews, that kind of thing. But basically, for those of you who don't edit video, the rule of thumb is about an hour of editing for 1 minute of video. So Mad Bitcoins is about 5 minutes long. And so it takes about 5 hours to make a Mad Bitcoins episode. So pretty much I wake up in the morning around 7 o'clock or so, start reading the news, writing the thing, editing the thing, reading it out loud. I read everything out loud 2 or 3 times. If you want to be a better writer, there you go. Read it out loud 2 or 3 times. You'll find all your mistakes right away. If it's hard to read, it's bad writing. Fix it. So there you go. That, and then I read it into the camera. I go and I sit down. I edit it. Then I put the graphics on. Then I upload it. Then I tell people about it. Right. So it's a big process of doing one of these if you want to do it. And mainly it's just time, dedication, and the whole 10,000 hours thing. You just keep doing it over and over again. And I mean, I'd like to keep doing it, and I do it on weekends and stuff. This kind of counts. This is like a weekend. I did an interview with Derek J that I'm going to upload tomorrow. It's got an audio buzz in it. I don't know what to do about that. But I'm trying to experiment with new things. We did clip-on mics, and I split it with a splitter. And obviously it didn't work that well. But I'm probably going to put the interview out anyway. And the internet, the thing about stopping, the only thing that would make, like the internet gives you a lot of negative comments, and you have to ignore those. So like when I put out this episode with the audio buzz, there's going to be some complaints, and then other people will be able to still hear it, even though the audio is bad. I don't know. And maybe there's a way to fix it. The other nice thing is if there is a way, maybe the internet will fix it for me or tell me how to fix it, and I can fix the episode too. So
okay, great.
It's very interactive.
I want to go back on something that you said, and I think that's really good. You gave people the tip, say what you want to say out loud at least 3 times. It kind of reminds me of my high school public speaking teacher, which, by the way, was probably the best class I ever took in high school. And he would kill me for saying but, and all that kind of stuff. In any case, you said something really cool. Say what you want to say out loud at least 3 times, and you'll figure out, what you need to edit. Give us some more tips like that, because you do have good. I mean, I'm not a big editor. I'll be straight up honest. I prefer just go at it, and if there are mistakes, there are mistakes. But I do appreciate editing when it's done well, and not over editing where it sounds like the people are talking like this. That's not really good. I don't like that.
Well, that's a stylistic choice of editing that some people have chosen. Which is sometimes it works, the MTV style. I like MTV, the old MTV. But let's see, editing. I mean, drafting is key. I think a lot of people, we talk about like code and like pseudocode. I think pseudocode is a really good idea, even for people who don't code. Like when I want to write a document, like a press release, I'll like kind of pseudo code it out. I'll be like, what is the purpose of this press release? Why am I writing it? Well, we got a great new feature. It does this. It's going to do this, and it's good for people. So that's why we're going to do it. And, you know, boom, I'll write some like nicer sentences, and I'll write some different versions of those sentences, and I'll try to make less words. The key is, I mean, you have to read a lot. You have to write a lot if you want to be a good writer. And if you want to communicate, that's what writing is. And communicating, talking, these other things. And I mean, when you read something like Jack Kerouac and you're like, wow, he wrote this all in one throw and it's just so amazing. At the same time, he practiced that a lot. And they edit that too. So nothing looks like it's one throw. The best, most casually, nicely written stuff has been carefully crafted. So I think it's all about editing, like drafting over and over and over.
All right, great. So you told us about when Mad Bitcoin started. When did World Crypto Network start, and what was the inspiration, and how did that start? So if people are unfamiliar, World Crypto Network is a network and it has different shows. So like, for example, Mad Bitcoins or the Bitcoin Group is the one that Thomas is the host of, the Bitcoin Group. There used to be Bitcoin Talk Show. That was a really popular show. This Week in Cryptos is.
We'd like to do Bitcoin Talk Show again. We'd like to keep it.
Yeah, sure. We'd like to keep that. That'll come back eventually. You know, my show, Transmission, of course. There used to be Chris Before Coffee. Chris was doing that for a long time. That was a big hit. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Bitcoin Rush.
Marnie was doing a show.
Marnie was doing a show. Bitcoin Rush. Bitcoin Rush is
tripping. Friends of the network.
Exactly. So some shows come and go. The people are busy, move on, things happen. Some new shows come on. But overall, there's really a lot. There's a show almost every day, let's say, for now. I haven't looked at the schedule. We were trying to map it out. But let's say for 1 week, there's 5 to 7 different shows. And that's basically, and that gives you an idea of what World Crypto Network. So how did you get the idea?
These are all volunteer shows. No one, we don't have any money. We're not distributing any money. If you want to donate to these shows, Bitcoin, send to them directly. They have their own QR codes. They all go to their own accounts.
Right. So
it's definitely the way to go.
Exactly. So how did you get the inspiration for World Crypto Network? And yeah, tell us about, like you said, we're a self-run organization. Just kind of tell us about that too. And just tell us how you got
all right,
and how did it happen?
It's going to seem like I'm going to talk forever, so you're going to have to throw in at parts. But okay. I'll just lay back and I'll pretend that you guys want to hear what I'm saying. All right, let's see. So it started out, first of all, when I saw Google Hangouts in general and YouTube in general. I love YouTube, and I was like, how do I get into YouTube? I'm too old to do YouTube. I'm not a kid. I'm not young looking. I'm not going to be good at YouTube. So I put it in the back of my mind. But then I see Davi and Derek on a Google Hangout, Derek J. Freeman and Davi Barker from Bitcoin Not Bombs and Peace News Now and some other stuff. And I see them on the Hangout chatting back and forth about Bitcoins. I say, hey, I could do that. Hey, I want to do that. That sounds great to me. Being on the Hangouts, being on a video, having a nice chat like this with Theo from Germany or Belgium, wherever Theo's from, one of those countries. But so we get that idea, and then we kind of start to do it. We did a show with Chris Ellis, and I think we had Chris Franco from Franco Coin, and we also had Jerry from Litecoin. I forget Jerry's internet name, but Jerry's very cool. And he was on the show. He's a big Litecoin promoter for a long time. And we talked about the various altcoins. We had like a discussion, and it was really popular. We got a lot of good comments. We got a lot of good questions. People liked talking about altcoins, and they liked Chris Ellis. They liked Chris Ellis. They wanted more Chris Ellis. We started the Bitcoin group as like an homage to the McLaughlin group, which is my favorite political show where these old guys who used to work for Nixon argue about politics every week. And it's often parodied in the media as the show where people talk over each other, but they're talking over each other because they actually care about the debate they're having. And that's how real people debate. And when they have these debates on other news talk shows and they're kind of boring and milk toast and lots of kind of respect for the other person's ideas, which you have to have respect for their ideas, but you have to be willing to challenge them if you're going to challenge their ideas. And these shows are more like, I'm presenting my side and I don't care what your side is. And they're not interacting. They're not thinking about these ideas. So McLaughlin Group, Bitcoin Group started, and we started doing these hangouts. And we said, well, Mad Bitcoins is not really the right place for these kind of hangout shows, this kind of more serious Bitcoin talk. And we like Let's Talk Bitcoin, but it was more of an audio show. And we really wanted to push it with these video shows. I mean, even right now, you can see me. I don't really like that, but we're dealing with that. And I think everyone else can deal with it too, because it makes for a more interesting product when you can see the people. Hangouts and even Blab right here are incredible new products that allow us to express ourselves and click on people, make them talk, make them not talk. And I really think that that's exciting. And World Crypto Network is a place where we just join together. Anyone can join. Our basic guidelines are kind of, you should get your own YouTube channel. You should definitely get your own Bitcoin QR code and get your own donations going and make your own shows. And maybe if you make 10 of your own shows, and if you're doing pretty good, we'll be like, you do one a week, we'll be like, oh, you should be on our network now. And that's about it. We want everyone to grow and get better. We give you suggestions on how to improve, usually stuff like buy a new microphone, wear headphones, these kind of things, just technical things. We want to produce a good product that people can hear. We don't want it to be lost in the technical problems. Beyond that, content-wise, we're very open. We want to talk about, I'm talking with my hands. They're really big. But, all that things happen. People are commenting to me. That's why I keep
that's
seeing
good.
these comments.
I do the same thing. It's fine. You're using body language is expressive. That's fine. I mean, you can do this.
Well,
you
this
can do
lab is getting more.
right. I've got the intellectual thing here. You put your hand, and I got the double pointer. Make a point like this. You can do kind of right the square. What was this one? This is the.
You talked earlier about.
This is an economic one, I think.
I want this to be a good general flowing conversation, Theo. So you talked earlier about public speaking. I think that's a good point. I used to do debate. I used to do public speaking in high school. I did impromptu speaking. So I'm pretty used to trying to just get my ideas out there, formulate them properly. And I think a lot of people should try that. Try debate. Try a thing like Toastmasters, where they make you make speeches. They can make even shy people come out and make a speech. And again, speech, talking, communication, writing. If you have ideas in your head, you want to get them out into the world, you have to study the way that people communicate their ideas. And that's what these things are. Rhetoric, literary things.
Definitely. I totally agree. And you can also debate people here on Blab, theoretically, if they're in the mood. It happens.
Well, I think that's what's happening. The little star or the heart things, whatever they are, I think we're having a contest.
Right, yeah, we're having a contest, me against Mad Bitcoin. I'm sure you'll win. No, those are called feels on Blab, and it's like, so, we were playing around with some different things. You could just somehow say, you feel me, and then you're supposed to get feels. And the other joke is, stop feeling me up. When people give you a bunch of feels, that's another joke going around. But yeah,
I could see platforms like this for game shows. There's a lot of game show elements that could be added to this, especially bringing people in and out, because I don't know, a lot of people don't know. If you want to look at the Mad Bitcoin's history, I did a game show. It's just like Jeopardy. I did one episode. I think it went really well, but I also learned that writing a game show is a lot of work. You have to write all the questions. They have to be accurate. You have to gather guests. That can be difficult. So it was another thing. I didn't have time to run all the other shows and a game show. But I liked running a game show.
Thomas? Have already been game shows on here, and it was really cool. Tim, a guy named Tim. I forgot his last name. I forgot his last name and his Twitter, but Tim, who has a big podcast already, he did a show. He already does the show normally as podcast form, but he has himself, the host, and 3 guests. Yeah, I think Tim Wilson, I believe. Yeah, so he did that show, and he gives
the internet intelligence.
Exactly. Yeah. On Blab, it's even yeah. Tim Wilson. So he'll for it's kind.
Did you
Imagine.
know if you Google Thomas Hunt,
Okay, let me just tell you. Imagine the Bitcoin group, how you do it. So, ladies and
yeah,
gentlemen, the Bitcoin group was similar to what Tim Wilson did, except there are no points. So, Tim Wilson said, "Well, what do you think about the woman that died in Texas in the prison? Do you think that was this or that? What's your opinion?" And then the people would say their take on it, and they'd have a limited amount of time, and the people are only allowed to give feels when they're talking, and then you're not supposed to give any more feels. Okay, and then the next person would
I
go,
love it.
yeah,
I watch a sports show that's like that, Around the Horn, and yeah, no, I think that would be fun. We could do that on the Bitcoin group.
yeah,
We
definitely,
could try it out.
yeah, we
Yeah,
could do that. And
especially
yesterday,
if it was locked down where the person talking could only get the points. I mean, they can because with the with a computer you can just legislate how the fuels can be out, that kind of thing. Oh, he
oh
likes
wow,
Around the Horn too. Yeah, can you believe Olbermann's leaving? Doesn't that suck? I love the Olbermann show so much. Olbermann, come back. PTI is good too. I like PTI, but no, Olbermann. Oh, my day is
okay. Well,
empty.
since we're going into the flowing conversation and all that, I'm gonna do the blab thing, and I'm gonna unlock the seat. So I did do the kind of show style thing where I lock down the seat, and it's just me and the guest, and I'm in
I did
total.
it. I did a show like this with
Yeah,
Derek
and so
J once,
now I have
and
opened
we
the seat. So if Bitcoin Art Gallery or Furqan or anyone else wants to take a seat, you just press the call in, and or Polly, if you want to.
all right. But let me tell you first, Derek J and I did this once, and I accidentally put the link out, and it was about 30 seconds before we got our first dick. But I wear that a lot already. So let's see.
Yeah, I think you told me that
People
story.
are chatting at me in Slack now. Oh yeah, the Derek
Yeah.
J. Yeah, it's a funny. Well, it's a good tip to everyone. Never share the Google Hangout link at the top of your Google Hangouts unless you're ready for whatever's
Right.
going to
So
happen.
here you
But yeah, we started the World Crypto Network, and let's just keep going, and we'll see if
exactly.
someone joins
You
in.
can kick
But
people out here.
no, anyone can join. Anyone can make a show. It's very
Yeah.
open.
So if you want to be a part,
And yeah, we still do have some shows. Let's talk about the people that are left. Mad Potcoins going strong. Mad Potcoins emailed me up, says, "Hey, I love Mad Bitcoins. I want to do a show kind of like it." And I say, "All right, Mad Potcoins." And he just does a great job. Same thing as what Let's Talk Bitcoin did to me is he gave me some technical advice on microphones and cameras and things to use, and I very much appreciated his comments. And I gave the same to Mad Potcoins, told him how to frame his videos, what kind of mics to use, and he's just been going strong. What I like about his show is he talks about general pot news as well as pot coins. And if anyone else wants to start their own mad show about whatever they like, you have the ability. It's like the Tin Man and the Wizard of Oz. You had it all along.
Thomas,
You had the courage all
you
along.
you haven't trade.
Yep, Theo, are
I
you
am
back?
back. You haven't trademarked the mad, whatever thing. It's not Mad Potcoins isn't paying you royalties every show or something.
No, no. Mad Popcorns pays no royalties. I mean, I want it to be a good product. I don't want mad terrible coins or something. But no, I like it. I think it's flattering, and I also think that Bitcoin Rush is a very cool show. He's doing his own channel now. He doesn't. I'm not sure why he doesn't want to upload to the World Crypto Network as well, but I support Bitcoin Rush. I think he's awesome. And This Week in Cryptos, another great show out of Borneo, actually, in the middle of the ocean. And he does this little puppet that talks about Bitcoin on the World Crypto Network. And I think it's the funniest thing. More people should watch it. It's a shock to me that he's not way more popular, doesn't get way more Bitcoin donations. But check out This Week in Cryptos. We're up to 10 live viewers. You can send in your questions on the chat or click this open button thing and you can join us, Theo says.
Yeah. So,
Theo's kind of frozen. His facial
hello,
expressions are
hello.
slow.
Can you see me? Yeah, I don't know why my computer keeps
I'm
doing.
winning 104 to 36. I'll bet you're running Linux or Windows. Let's see. Talk about monetizing streams with Bitcoin. Well, I mean, I can talk about my own experience. I started out with Bitcoin. I put a QR code on the end of the stream, and I put the Bitcoin address as the first line in the video with the donate button. What that does is that donate button can be picked up by ProTip. ProTip is this new software. It's going to sit in your web browser. It'll go to all the web pages you view, track how long you spend the time there, and then based on your weekly allowance of like $5, it will send those people like 20 cents, 30 cents every week. And that's what I suggest now is Pro Tip. And it's all Bitcoin. It's on the blockchain. Pro Tip doesn't know who you're tipping. Pro Tip doesn't know what websites you visit. They don't have any information about you. It's an open source project. You can go read the code yourself. And I really think that Pro Tip and Bitcoin donations are going to help people develop new shows. So yeah, put up your Bitcoin QR code, collect donations. I mean,
So we got
do a good
Furkan
show.
coming in.
Do it every day. Do a lot of
Hey, how's it
shows.
going?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Nothing much.
All right.
Hanging out at
Uh,
Blab.
Cool. I always love the
Not
Bitcoin
much.
conversation, so I'll always jump in for that. But I had some questions for you guys about Bitcoin. I'm gonna ask some tough Bitcoin questions for you guys. So like, like Bitcoin as a currency?
All right.
Like when Bitcoin as a currency, if we pretend, let's say 3 years from now, 4 years from now, a year from now, it's becoming a standard in currency. How does it avoid becoming very similar to the fiat currencies where banks kind of control the currency and they're there for stability? And like my worry with Bitcoin as a currency is like companies like Coinbase effectively operate as banks because they hold your wallet, they secure your money, they kind of guarantee it. Well, effectively, that's a bank to me. And it loses that kind of decentralized nature for it. How do you see Bitcoin prevents that? And do you think it will prevent Bitcoin from reaching the promised land or any of that?
Well,
Oh, okay. This is a really good question, and I think it's really difficult. So I'm going to totally answer it, and then Theo can talk because you're slower, Theo. This lag. But anyway, no. What do I think? Bitcoin. I think it's really hard to build a decentralized thing that works on the first try. I think that basically what we're going to go through is a centralized phase and then a return to decentralization. It has to do kind of think about if you are a merchant and someone told you about BitPay. You would accept BitPay and you would work with BitPay for a while, and maybe they don't have fees anymore, but when they did have fees, you'd pay them. And then eventually maybe you'd say, oh, I could just get my own blockchain wallet. I could just get Airbit's or Bread wallet. I could get an independent wallet, and I don't need BitPay. And I think that's what people are going to learn with Coinbase and these other services. Right now, we're using centralized services because that's the best available service. But if I look at eBay to OpenBazaar, I think these open projects are going to rise up and may continue to decentralize Bitcoin. There is a centralization fear. The mining centralization is also a problem. I think the 21 million supply helps Bitcoin a lot more than people think. And that as time goes on, as interest goes up, the supply comes back in more. Theo, let's see. Oh, Theo's completely disappeared now. I'm taking this over then. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, my
Pretty
general
close,
thoughts
or?
on Bitcoin are very similar, which is I think the currency itself, because it's the first time currency and or the first major currency of its type that's come out, I think the currency may not work, and I think that's fine because this could pave the way for potential new things. I think currency is a small percentage of how to use a blockchain, and I'd like to see the blockchain usage kind of grow. And like when I think I'm a tech guy, when I think about distributed database that's decentralized, like I suggested the other day to somebody who was building a side project, he was like, oh, this could be a replacement for SoundCloud. I was like, if you want to replace SoundCloud's biggest problem is they have to pay hosting costs for everything, and they have to serve up all this data and then serve up everything. And if you could decentralize all of that and say, my song library is in the blockchain, and all of the content is streamed from torrents, and now it's all peer to peer. That will destroy SoundCloud because you no longer have hosting fees, and that's what I want to see. I think that's where the power of Bitcoin is. Currency is a small use case, but there's so much potential there, and so I like your answer though. I think it's the answer I rarely get, which is maybe Bitcoin itself won't work. Usually people kind of want to believe that Bitcoin will work, and so they tell everybody, hey, it will work. But I like your answer.
Well, it's only 5 years old.
Well, I do think it does. Yeah, and it does work now. If you think about like spending Bitcoin, if I have $100 and I send it to someone and they cash it out, we worked. It spent the Bitcoin. If it's really the problem is if tomorrow the Bitcoin's worth $120 and you feel ripped off now, that's going to keep happening. Like but as far as like if you only buy the Bitcoin to spend it, it works great.
Yeah. As a transfer protocol, it's awesome, right? Like I can send money to somebody around the world instantaneously. If somebody can just wrap their hands around that, that's powerful. So
definitely.
I think part of what's happened is that a lot of people got rich by holding Bitcoin. And I don't know if that was the original plan for anybody for Bitcoin. That's why I think, a lot of people didn't do it. Maybe we should have. We all should have, of course. We would have been rich. But now I think we're going to a new phase. A lot of people still do hold Bitcoin. I hold some Bitcoin. But if you can just buy it and spend it, it works. Spread the word about it. Tell more merchants. And after you tell the merchants, come back and spend money there again. And the same thing for a web page. If you get a web page to accept Bitcoin, you're going to have to be their best customer. You're going to have to tell your Bitcoin friends to shop there. We pretty much need to form little groups of Bitcoin spenders and go around and spend this currency if you want it to be a currency. I agree with Furquan that it works for a lot of distributed database things. There's going to be a lot of other projects on this, and I support those ideas as well. But if you support the idea of the currency, I think spending. Theo, are you with us?
I am with us. Thank you very much. I am back. I have reloaded, and I might be a little delayed, but I am in the conversation, and I can agree with you on most of that. And Jens, we will get to you. Welcome, Jens. That
no problem. Take your time.
Bitcoin is new. We're still, experimenting. It's a social experiment. It's an economic experiment. Blockchain has a lot of uses. Spending Bitcoin, people need to spend. I also encourage people to spend a lot. Whenever someone says, "Yeah, I need to cash out some Bitcoin," I usually say, "Well, why don't you just buy something?" It's a lot. You get a better deal, first of all. And second of all, it encourages the whole economy. Now, right now, we're kind of using mostly workarounds where the people that I give the Bitcoin to are, for the most part, going to then, after they get it, transfer it to dollars. But that's okay. They just can't afford to take the risk of holding Bitcoin because right now you cannot really, a lot of businesses can't take that risk. Now, Overstock took that risk and they had some mixed results of that, but that's part of their thing. They knew that ahead of time. Okay. And all this is still developing. I mean, there could be, and there are big put options on.
They're a big company. They're a big boy. They're going to be fine.
They're going to be fine. Jens, welcome.
Yes.
Please ask your question. What's up?
Yes. So just to follow up with this pro tip that you're just talking about, is that already out? Because all I'm finding is the Indiegogo donation for it.
Yeah, pro tip is in beta right now. We're testing it out. We did raise $12,000 on Indiegogo to help pay the programmers who have been volunteering their time up to this point. And I do think that it is going to come out within the next couple of months. The beta is very solid. It does work. It has all the functions I'm talking about. And I think, it's going to take a lot of work to get that. But basically, with the pro tip system, all you have to do is put your Bitcoin address on your blog, on your SoundCloud, on your YouTube, and you just copy and paste it in.
How do I
the
get
software
the
will
software?
pick it up. And I think this is going to be the way that. Oh, you just go ahead and send a direct message to Pro Tip HQ on Twitter, and we can get you a link to join the beta.
I gotcha. And
probably the easiest way for right now.
Bitcoin in general. Okay, so just to kind of recap what you said. So basically, the subscribers is one income level, and then people could just tip on the go as well.
Exactly.
You can get one, like if you put up a QR tip or a QR code for Bitcoin, people can just tip you like $1 here and there. But if you really want to make videos, if you really want to make art, what you need is subscribers. And that's what Pro Tip is going to have. They have a subscriber feature, and they have a like a time-based feature where you just time what web pages you go on and it pays. This way, if you read like a random article somewhere, you could accidentally pay them a dime. This kind of accidental discovery. The problem with direct tipping is there's a lot of cognitive costs. Like it takes too much time for me to say, tip you $1, tip you $1, tip you $1. Like I need to be reading articles, moving on to the next article. I don't have time to be tipping everyone manually. And that's why I think this automated system, and again, this is something the internet's always wanted, right? I think we're all on the same page. We all want the internet to be funded by micropayments we don't have to think about. And I think it's going to take a lot of work on everyone's side. Like it takes work to get a Bitcoin address, to put it on your webpage, install Pro Tip. This is all, you can't hide the work, but systems like Pro Tip, Patreon, Bitcoin can help content creators create content. And we just have to build them up.
And so, I get what you're saying. But I'm not really looking to use it as, I guess it would be nice to have that kind of constant income from it as well. But I guess the direct application for me is, for example, I was streaming on Meerkat for a while, and as one of the things I always did is like every week or twice a week, I basically was doing my photo editing, and then I would do like a Twitter banner giveaway or something like that. And even though I was trying to just give it out, people would always be like, well, can't I just give you like $5 or $10, So for me, I'm actually more interested in the direct pay, just an easy click to where they don't have to do much. So would a normal person then, they would need to first sign up then purchase Bitcoin and then click the button, right? There's no direct payment that then translates and not translates. What's the word? Gosh, exchanges it for Bitcoin automatically and pays
I think that the problem starts with getting from the fiat system to the Bitcoin system. When you go from fiat to Bitcoin, like if you use a credit card, there could be chargebacks, so they could cancel the order. So if you get Bitcoin, you can't cancel it. Bitcoin's an uncancelable thing. So the gap is really there. We need people to know how to use Bitcoin, how to use a web page like Coinbase. I mean, there are like YouTube right now has its own built-in tipping system. You can donate money through YouTube. Facebook has its own built-in tipping system. Does? You can donate money through Facebook. Yep, they just launched it through Facebook Messenger. You can send someone $1. It goes all the way down to a penny.
It's so crazy because I used to be on Facebook all the time, but with all these new platforms, I've really ignored it for the last 2 months. But okay, do you think there is going to be a future where that's going to work? Though?
It's a weird. I think it has to do with adoption. I think that until now, people have been using credit cards on the internet, and they've not really worked well together. There's been a lot of chargebacks. We don't know about it because we're not merchants, but there's been a lot of problems with credit cards on the internet. I think that when everyone starts using Bitcoin and everyone starts donating Bitcoin to other people, it could help this.
I mean, yes, when it becomes more widespread, but obviously, I'm looking for the now, because it's more of a I need money, I need income, So, I'm just thinking of ways to maximize my, time online, not just for social purposes, but like I said, when I'm editing and I'm online anyway, why not somehow be able to generate a second income from that?
Well, I have an idea.
Well, and I think putting the QR code up, if you put a QR code up and you archive it, that way people could always donate in the future.
Yeah, but no one does.
Even if they don't donate live.
What are the chances,
That could be one idea.
You'd be surprised.
Really?
Yeah, you could do that. You could offer. You could record it, and then just if you were talking about your webpage the other day. What if you had some photos or photo packs or photo lessons that you could buy and you just accepted Bitcoin? It's just another way for people to pay you, basically. So you could just say, oh, I also accept Bitcoin. And then, that would just be another easy way for people to pay you. Maybe they would prefer to pay you in Bitcoin for whatever reason. Maybe they're from another country.
Yeah.
Maybe it's faster. It's open 24 hours, 365 days a year. There are a lot of reasons. So it's not hard as a person or an artist, or like you, a photographer, which also an artist, to just accept Bitcoin. It's pretty easy. Now, someone is asking in the chat about ChangeTip. ChangeTip is great because it solves a problem of creating a Bitcoin address for someone that only has a social media account. And for that, it's good. But I always encourage people to download a wallet, any kind of wallet, really, so that they can learn how it works, how Bitcoin works, what it is, what is a private key, what does it mean, generating addresses, all of these things that sound really technical that are not really that hard to learn. You learn really quick when you just download a wallet. And I usually recommend.
I think that's what I need to do.
Yeah. So Electrum, if you scroll really kind of far up now, I'll post it again. Electrum is a really cool wallet. And the reason Electrum is cool is because you can also do next level stuff when you're ready, like multi-signature. And it's really easy to set up on that. And so sometimes I'm doing sessions in here, ask me anything about Bitcoins. And I'll just, go through, okay, who needs a wallet? Okay, now you've got a wallet. Now I'll send you a little bit of Bitcoin. And the other day, me and Bobby, we set up a multi-signature address. We don't have a use for it, but we just set it up just to go through the process of it. Now, if me and Bobby want to do something with the multi-signature later, we could, but it was just more of a learning experiment. And so that's also, if you ever see me on here, I'm willing to help anyone out with Bitcoin wallets and all that kind of stuff.
And that's the thing, Theo, is that people need to try Bitcoin and send Bitcoin around. It's really amazing when you send $1 from this wallet to that wallet, send $100 from this wallet to that wallet. You can do anything with Bitcoin. You just need to try it out and become comfortable with it. Until you've tried it out, the tipping, the donating, the QR codes, scanning a QR code, all of this is very new. If you haven't tried it, give it a try. Put $10 in. Put $20
I want to tell
in. Try Coinbase.
Can you define the blockchain?
Yes. Can you hear me?
And why do some apps use a part
I can give you my
version. Whole thing?
Okay. Well,
sorry, just as a follow-up.
No, it's good. Well, this is how I would explain the blockchain. The blockchain is a book. Here's the book. Okay? And the book, everybody in the network has a copy of the book. The book contains every single transaction that ever happened in the whole life of Bitcoin eternity. It sounds pretty big, but that's the reason that Bitcoin works, why you can't cheat it, because everybody has a copy instead of just one person having a copy. Okay, the reason some wallets only use a part of it, all they're doing is they're just using a header of the, so it's like, imagine to download the whole book is a bunch of megabytes or even gigabytes. I think in the meantime, actually, it's a few gigabytes. But what you can do, because of cool technology, is you can just get the top of each page and enough information to use Bitcoin. Now, you're not helping the network as much as if you were to download the whole book, but you're still helping out because you are running a real wallet and you can still use it just like any other wallet. So that's the advantage. And I think it's a good starting point for people. If people are really enthusiastic, then they can download Bitcoin QT, the full wallet, and they can, there's each wallet has a few different features. What do you think, Thomas?
I think it's a great explanation, Theo. I like what you said about the uneditable nature of it. It works with these things called Merkle trees. So if something's changed, we could tell by looking at the other blocks and it all interconnects together. And I think that's the real power of Bitcoin, is that your money is secure there. It can't be edited just because someone works at the company. There's no database to just go change. And it also can't be lost because it's blocked. It's backed up on everyone's computer. We have multiple copies of this thing. It's very public. It's very exposed, and these are all positive things.
Okay.
Oh, and the follow up, yeah, I agree with Theo said about the
Right.
It's basically the blockchain's too big to download. So if you get one of the I forgot what they're called, the shorter
headers,
wallet things.
Yeah, I guess
they're better.
what I looked up was the top 10 Bitcoin wallets just on Google for the hell of it, and it just said on the first one was that initial one, which was invented by the Satoshi Nakamoto, I think was his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it had his or whatever, I guess the original one, and that said this has the whole, blockchain attached to it, and then the other one said has a small part of it. So that's why I was wondering. But that's okay. That makes sense, definitely.
Okay, I want to tell a little
we really
story,
need to promote this,
ladies and gentlemen. I want to tell a little story, and it does have to do with the photograph. Now, it doesn't have to do with the photographer actually, but there was a picture made of a guy holding up this sign, and it said, "Mom, I'm out of money. Please send Bitcoin now." And he was at a big sports event. He had this big poster, and he had a QR code, and that picture went viral. And there were, I don't know how many Bitcoin, I think like 5 or 10 Bitcoins were sent to this guy, and they were worth a lot more than they are now. It was like 500. This guy got like thousands in tips just because this guy held up that funny sign, and it went viral. So that's probably the most tips I've heard of for one picture or someone doing something like that. But it just gives you an example of what's possible. So what if, you're the photographer, what if you were taking a picture of a street musician or something, and they happen to accept Bitcoin? I mean, it might be complicated to set them up, but let's just say in a fantasy world they did, or a lot of these pictures and these videos I see, I'm like, wow, why don't they have an address? Because people could tip them, and it's going viral, and they're not really getting any credit. And so people could tip them directly. And if the people have made the video, monetize the video, well, they're going to get the money. But if people want to tip the musicians or the person that made the art directly, then they could send them Bitcoin if they just had a little QR code in the picture. Or if it's your photograph, you could theoretically just put a little QR code on the side somewhere. And if it went really viral and people really liked it, in at least, of course, it would probably have to be viral in the Bitcoin world. But, they would probably tip you something because that's just the nature of it. It is a kind of giving, even still today, the price a little bit lower. It's still a giving community. So, Thomas, that's your QR code.
What is the...
This is it right here. This is the Airbits wallet. And if you want to donate like $1 to me or something just to try this out, I'd welcome that $1. I'll spend it on lunch. That's what I do with my Airbits wallet. It's funny, the guys at work and I, we pretty much, no one has any cash. So it's always, I'll pay you back in Bitcoin. And I think we're just sending the same $20 in Bitcoin back around every day at lunch as we each run out of cash and have to go back to the ATM, because a lot of these restaurants in the Mission only take cash. So it's an interesting thing. But and that's another great way to use Bitcoin, is just to send it around for restaurant.
One more question,
repayment
all right,
to your friends, so you can try it out.
So once, I guess,
go ahead.
The drive for you guys to educate on Bitcoin is basically that everybody who's using Bitcoin is somehow invested in it because you want to get more people to use it, correct?
You mean, what do we get out of it?
Yeah, I mean, not directly, but I'm saying like say I get into this, obviously, then I'm bound to want to also spread the word because, in the end, I want more people to have Bitcoins because otherwise they're not going to be able to tip me, right?
Basically.
Absolutely. And there's also a possible monetary implementation where we could make a bunch of money if Bitcoin went up. If everyone watching the video started using Bitcoin, we'd make a bunch of money, right? And that's partially, because if we held a little bit of Bitcoin, and if the value of Bitcoin goes up like people think, then we'd all make money. I mean, I'm not sure that's true. I'm not sure it's going to happen and I'm not personally motivated that way by just piles of money, but no, I think that we've never done anything like this before as humanity. We've never switched over to a global digital currency before. So I think it's kind of like Twitter, Facebook, anything else where it does become viral. Like, yes, if we convert you to become a Bitcoiner and you tell your 2 or 3 friends and they become Bitcoiners, we all profit as Bitcoiners. We're all a better community with you guys as a part of us. And I think that's true about Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, any of these services. Like, if they can get me to start taking photos tomorrow, they're better because they have my photos. It doesn't matter how good my photos are. So, yeah, we want everybody on board. And I think that's just how it's going to work. It's a process. Like, I'm not going to convince you to become a Bitcoiner at my first try. I'm going to give you a little seed. Someone else will give you a little seed. Someone else give you like that. Eventually, you might try it. If you try it, you send Bitcoin around.
It's the first time I downloaded a wallet.
You might become a Bitcoiner.
Yeah. Obviously, all these little snippets everywhere are paying off.
Yeah. I'm just
because I wonder with like what's.
I mean, for me, it's just. I mean,
See?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's
different for different people. I mean, some people are really just interested in using it as a payment mechanism because it's cheaper than PayPal or credit cards or so on. So they don't really care about cryptography and blockchains and all that. They just say, oh, people want to pay me in that and it's a cool new thing. Okay, great. I'll accept that. And some people are more political and they say, I don't want to use a currency controlled by government. So that's why I like Bitcoin. Some people are techno freaks and they say, well, this is the techno super duper money. I want that. So it's a different thing for different people. Some people are speculators and traders. It's a really cool thing to speculate and trade on because it doesn't close. Like, the stock exchange closes on Friday. Bitcoin never, ever closes. It's being traded every day, 24 hours a day. So there's different things for different. Some people are artists. It's a cool thing for artists.
It reaches its maximum, right?
What do you mean? Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's a technical thing. I mean, yeah, but there's still Bitcoins to be traded. It's just there won't be any more new ones generated, which is a complicated thing too. But yeah, so
will that level out the value then?
Nobody.
Well, first, I don't think it's going to happen
someone was
for
talking about it like
40 years, so I don't think we're going to see it.
Future.
But no, I mean it is something like to worry about theoretically if we want to leave Bitcoin to our children, if we want a new digital world of money, and I think we do. I think we want it, and even if Bitcoin is just 1.0 and some other coin comes out and is better, it's going to be digital money. It's probably going to have a blockchain. But yeah, when there's 21 million coins and they've all been mined, there's no more reason for the miners to upkeep the transaction log, right? To keep the ledger going.
I thought the mining
except
was
that
over.
There'll be fees. So the thing to say naturally that Bitcoin software and software can, well, the mining reward will be over because miners get 12 and a half new coins. It used to be 25 every time they create a new block. Right, but there won't be 12 and a half new coins to give them, right? Because we'll be out of coins. What we'll have to do then is we'll just have to raise the other fees, and Bitcoin, the network, will be more expensive to use. And Bitcoin, as a coin that's the first one to be mined out, first major popular coin, maybe it's like you use Bitcoin like you use bonds. Like Bitcoin is money used to buy a house. You don't use Bitcoin just as spending money. Maybe you use Litecoin or Dogecoin or some random.
Nobody knows the future exactly what will happen.
So I think it's
and
flexible.
All that, but it is interesting to think about, and I'm sure there will be a way that everything will work fine. So even though all the coins are mined, there, like you said, there's transaction fees. There's already now, just in 1 year, if I think about all the things that were developed just to do microtransactions and do like all of these crazy things, multi-signature, all of this stuff is in hyperspeed. So whenever I talk about Bitcoin, it's kind of like in dog years. It's called crypto years. So like one Bitcoin year is like 1 month It's really everything moves in hyperspeed.
Way
It's
too fast.
really amazing, like the things that people develop and the problems that people solve. Little things that need to be developed or fixed, people fix very quick.
And this discussion is healthy. We need to be asking these questions. We need to be proposing answers, and I think it helps us lead towards solutions. And it's a little different. Like the blockchain debate is freaking people out because we've never had this kind of discussion in public before.
Yeah, I feel
But
like
this is
everybody
how things
wants
get
everything very
decided. We have to
open,
discuss
So
them. We have to see how it goes.
I feel it's important to, if you're trying to push what a lot of the I guess morals or ethics behind this currency is, then what's it called? Transparency should be way up there. As far as yeah.
Very much. You can see everything in the
You can see how
blockchain.
much
You can
money
see
is
exactly how much money
Thomas,
everyone
that's
has.
not exactly
Very
right.
transparent.
What you can see is how much every.
Now you hit the controversial topic.
Yeah, exactly. Now you can see how much each address has. Now, if I know that that's your address is a different topic. And if that holds up in a court of law, that this address is Thomas's address and Thomas is a bad person, is a whole nother story. So if you're concerned about that, there are ways to mix up your Bitcoins and make them very obscured. But theoretically, it's true that every transaction is written in that book that I talked about, and they're all addresses. So now we know that Thomas has control of that address. So if Thomas was to do something really naughty from that address, then theoretically we might be able to figure it out. But we would have to know where he sent it to and who that address is.
Well, but remember, it's just a chain of transactions. Like this is my address from Airbits, and I copied and pasted it into blockchain.info, right? And blockchain.info, if there were any transactions here, if you sent me money, I could go back and look at your wallet where you sent it from. So if you send me $10 and you have $7,000, I can now click back and see that you have $7,000. I don't know who you are. I know you have 7,000. I mean, that's because of the way Bitcoin works.
Then you know, right?
That's how it works.
Like if I say I'm donating $10,
it's also great
then
for
you get the code, then you obviously know, right?
Yep. If you make.
Okay.
We could assume then we wouldn't know directly. If you took the address and put it on your Twitter, like we're saying, you're an artist, right? You draw or something, right? And you want to put your QR graphics. Okay, so you want to put your QR code up. So you're a public person. You're putting up a public address.
Whoop, he cut
Hello?
out.
Oh, he cut out. Good. It's not me.
It's
so, Jens, yeah.
Those two are going to link together.
Okay, Thomas.
So that would be fine.
Okay.
The problem comes
really bad.
Thomas, you're breaking up. Now it's your turn to reload. Jens, what I wanted to say is you can make as many addresses as you want. So in that wallet you downloaded, you could make, if you want, you could make 500 addresses, and you could use each one time. Or you could also make an address for every picture. And then you'd say, oh, someone sent Bitcoin to that address. Oh, that's for that picture. You can make a little name in your wallet, and only you see that goes to that one. And so there's a lot of different ways to do it. I mean, it just depends on what you want to do. So if you want to be really transparent, if you're saying I'm collecting donations for something, so that's what I was talking to Covert about. So Covert here at Lab, he's doing homeless outreach. And they're making a new project from people they met here on Blab. And they are going to accept Bitcoin too, because I was telling them about Sean's Outpost and multi-signature and all that. So I'm going to help them get all set up with that and show them how they can be more transparent with all that. Okay, so Thomas is going to come back. And yeah, that's just depends. So you could be really transparent, or you could say, oh, I want to be very private. Then all the Bitcoin you accepted, you would mix up, which is something a little complicated that I don't want to really explain right here, but it is possible to do to make it the whole transaction's really obscure. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah. You can have an extra layer of hiding it somehow.
Yeah, basically imagine, so you can break Bitcoin up into a lot of little pieces. So what if you sent one Bitcoin somewhere and you got back a different Bitcoin? And in the meantime, it was broken up into a bunch of pieces and put back together again. That's basically how it works.
I got you. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so that's a lot harder to track down. So Thomas is back with us, ladies and gentlemen. We are live on Blab 2.0 beta.
So it's kind of like sending a, what's it called? Like a torrent, right?
Kind of, yeah, a little bit.
Like a BitTorrent. It spreads the whole file up into thousands of pieces, and then you download a little piece from each person.
Kind of. That's kind of how something called coin mixing works. Now, you could do that if you need to. It's just a matter. But you can read about it on the internet, or I can chat about the details of it. But that's.
I don't think it's necessary for me. I'm not that security.
Right.
I'm not talking about millions of dollars.
Right, but it's possible. If you did want to be more private, you could. So that's just what I want to. Yeah. That's just what I want to say. So I don't know if anyone here has seen the film Dope, which is in the theaters, I believe. I happened to see it, and they use Bitcoin in that movie, and it's really quite funny what goes on in the movie. So as the name says, it does have something to do with drugs. But I don't know. Has anyone seen it?
What was it called again?
Dope. It's just called Dope.
I haven't seen it.
Dope.
Well, definitely check it out. But whenever someone has seen it, I'd like to have a chat with them, because although they do show some things that are correct about Bitcoin, they showed some things and talked about some things not exactly right. But for Hollywood, I give it an okay. It wasn't. But there's just some funny things that happen in the movie. If you know how Bitcoin really works, they do it. But I think it shows you that it's slowly coming into people's brains and ideas. They're like, wait, this could be used for this. This could be used for that. This is really interesting. I mean, in the film, it is kind of like, oh yeah, I know this like nerd guy, and he was doing Bitcoin stuff. We can use that. So it is kind of still really niche, but people are seeing the utility of it little by little, and the potential of what it could be used for, just like what we've been talking about right here.
Well, then, and let's. All right, can you hear me now? Does it work? All right, okay. It doesn't have it needs a little audio meter to staff. But really, I can see yours, but I can't see my own. Because I have a mute button and I have a lot of stuff going here. But let's go back full circle to like my beginning of Bitcoin, because I think we're on the same page here, because you're just starting out with Bitcoin. When I first saw Bitcoin, I saw a video of someone on a command line typing in some stuff and sending a little number to someone else. And I said, that's ridiculous. No one is ever going to use that World of Warcraft money, right? How are they going to convince the world? And I started thinking of it as a thought problem. And I was like, that is an incredible thought problem. You have this value system. Like, I understood it. Like, there was value in those little numbers. But how do you convince the world that you should take those little numbers and give me a hot dog, right? And so I ignored Bitcoin for 2 or 3 years with this thought problem. It's just an unsolved problem. Like when you see Napster, you're like, oh yeah, Napster is really cool, but they're going to find that server and put it out of business. And they found that server and they put it out of business. And then someone else comes along with BitTorrent and they're like, oh, you can't find the server anymore. Brilliant. And that's what Bitcoin is. It's this distributed money. You can't find the server. You can't put it out of business. And it just keeps creeping along. And it doesn't matter that I ignored it, that other people ignored it. More and more people keep turning on to it. And they say, hey, yes, we can use this World of Warcraft money to send value around. And if everyone in the world tomorrow woke up and said, Bitcoin is how we send value, then it would be over. And then we'd be living in a post-Bitcoin world. We'd have all kinds of new problems to think about. But it would be different.
I want to tell a quick little story, not a long story, short story. Also, the first time I heard about it, I looked around on the internet and I thought I had to mine it. And I went and I said, okay, Bitcoin mining. And I kept on going to
Can you
all these.
define mining? Sorry.
Well, I would almost need a whole nother blab. But yeah, but just to
Okay,
make a
never
long
mind.
story short, or the short story even shorter, is that I would go to these pages and it would say Bitcoin mining at mining pool. And I was really confused. And it said, make a worker. And I thought, this is a scam. I've got to get like another worker to get Bitcoin. It sounds like multi-level marketing or something. I was like, this is the weirdest thing ever. What is this? And after I just needed, about 1 or 2 nights of reading about it. And then I figured out, okay, it's not that you have to mine it. That I don't really understand mining, but I don't have to mine it. So then I figured out, oh, free Bitcoin faucet. There you can get a little bit of free Bitcoin. And, I wasn't as early as it was 2013. It wasn't that long ago. But you could still get, some Bitcoin from the faucets. So I was able to collect a little bit by little bit, and then I sent it around like we described, just to myself. Like, oh, from this website to this website and so on. And then, you're just reading on my own about it. But I thought this thing is a scam from the beginning. I thought this is the silliest thing I've ever heard of. This is ridiculous. And also, let's be honest, it's gotten better, but a lot of the sites look kind of funny, especially back in the day, so to say. They looked kind of iffy in some ways. Just the graphics, Bitcoin going to the moon.
Well, I remember the first time I logged into Mt. Gox. I just thought it was a very juvenile and poorly written PHP application. And I was like, wow, this is very 1.0 looking. I don't know why this is such a big exchange. But to go back to Jens's question, what is Bitcoin mining? In a very short explanation, Bitcoin mining upkeeps the network. So it keeps that big ledger, which is the blockchain with all the transactions. It adds new transactions to that. It's difficult. You have to run special software. You have to have special computers nowadays. You didn't used to. So that's a complicated process where it gets confusing and you're like, oh, I could be mining with my PC.
That's what I heard.
Not really anymore.
It's
not
a lot of anymore.
Yeah, it's another one of those things. A lot of the problems with like selling Bitcoin or convincing new people about Bitcoin is that there has been a lot of get rich quick that's happened in Bitcoin. People that mined early and forgot the money on their machine got a little bit of rich quick. People that bought Bitcoin early and intentionally held it or accidentally held their Bitcoin have gotten rich quick. That doesn't seem to happen anymore. It's not likely to happen in the future, but that feeling of the get rich quickness like sticks with us. There are a lot of people that want to get rich quick. I think that, especially like with your work or my work of making videos, we're looking for maybe $10 a video. You're going to have to make a lot of videos to get anything with $10 a video. But just like I'm saying here I studied short story writing and writing in general. You have to journal every day. You have to write every day. You have to make videos every day, do graphic art every day. And if you could get $10 a day, you'd be in a lot better position. You could buy a new drawing pad or a new camera, whatever you needed. That's what I'm encouraging people to do.
Thank you guys very much for the info. I don't want to ask too many questions because I like to process stuff first. So I think it's a good idea to definitely, just to play with this wallet a little bit.
Definitely.
I guess that's why people
send all the
that's
5 cents the thing,
and 10 cents and stuff around, right? To keep that ledger going.
Sure. Well, they do it because they can. The nice thing, a lot of things, PayPal was supposed to be like Bitcoin. You're supposed to be able to pay your pal, pay your friend back for restaurants. That's really what they started out as. But they took too many fees and their system was too complicated. And basically PayPal totally owns their system. When something goes wrong with PayPal, they freeze your account and they stop your money from moving. Bitcoin is a totally unowned system. Bitcoin isn't owned by the government. Can't say you can't donate to WikiLeaks anymore on PayPal. They say that, but on Bitcoin,
right?
They can't do
so that's
that.
That's a good point. Yeah, that was, you can't censor a Bitcoin transaction. Anybody can send a Bitcoin transaction, and there are zero qualifications for having a Bitcoin wallet, as opposed to getting a bank account. So you don't have to show anyone an ID. You don't have to show anyone bills. You don't have to have a passport. None of that. Zero, nothing. All you have to do is be able to download it and connect to the internet, and that's it. That's the only thing you need. There's no one to say, yes, you can, no, you can't, only to this place, only to that place. So if you want to send WikiLeaks a donation, well, Bitcoin is probably the best way, and other people. So a little story on World Crypto Network, we sent donations during the Hong Kong protest to a friend of ours. And then he did it live on air. He took the donations and then he bought dim sum live on air, and then he brought it to the people so the people could see exactly where the funds went. And that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool example of how you can send money quickly, all over the world. So there was basically donations coming from all over the world with very low friction. You see what I mean? So it basically...
And everyone could contribute. You could put $1 in, he could put $1 in, and eventually we had hundreds of dollars to buy people Chinese food. It was pretty fantastic.
Yeah. Okay.
And we've done larger things with the Philippines donations during the typhoons. FR33 Aid collected a lot of donations and then sent them directly there. And then they had the videos and the pictures coming out of the aid being taken to the people. So this kind of direct funding. All you have to do is hold up the QR.
That's the most exposure I've gotten is from, what's her name? She also does blabs now.
String Story.
Yeah. Like she is... I think she does this full time, right? Just Bitcoining.
I have no idea if she does. I don't know what she does full time. We'll have to ask her. But
I think she said, I don't know. I don't want to assume, but I thought she said that she works, not with Bitcoin, obviously, but I don't know what exactly. But she did a lot of donating for that cause there. So I don't know if that's the same person or not.
Okay, great, cool.
I don't know. I think that
I don't know. A lot of people work for Bitcoin and give donations.
So what is? I don't actually. Let's not even talk about it. Right. I'm so confused by that part of it, so I don't even want to get into it.
Okay, cool. Okay, anyone else have a question or want to have a seat? If you're new to Blab, all you do is click the button where it says "Call in" to have a seat, and if I approve you, then you can come on. So I've been joking with people on Blab when they have seats closed, or if they're thinking of trying to invite people, then what they should do is just hold up a QR code. And when they get enough Bitcoin, then they can open the seat. It's kind of like holding the seat for ransom. That was just a little joke, but you could do that theoretically.
That's a good idea. And also, I want to say to everyone at home, if you don't have a microphone yet, you should buy a microphone like this Yeti Blue mic.
I like this one.
It's pretty good. It's like $100.
I prefer this one, but that's okay. Yeah, mine looks cool.
And then I would also suggest, I've got a little camera here. I thought of an ingenious way to show it. Look at this. I'm videoing the camera in the reflection of the camera. But yeah, just a little Logitech. It was around $75. And for around $200, camera, mic, done. Now you can communicate on the internet. You can be a part of these shows. You can make your own shows. You can have a friend of yours join up and talk to you.
That's not right. That bad. Okay, so let's what I could also do if I'm really clever, I've already got Bitcoin and I want to get a cool camera and I want to either get a Yeti, or if I want to sound a little different, not just like everyone else, then I might get a Samsung that's also high quality, but it sounds a little different, or something like that. Nice high quality USB mics. There are a few out there, but Yeti is a pretty good standard. The reason I'm talking about this one is because if you're on the go, this folds up, and it's very small actually. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, I just like the way it looks, to be honest, because it's metallic. But what you could do is, if you have Bitcoin, is you could just go over to purse.io and look on Amazon and get a good deal on your camera or your mic and use Bitcoin and save at the same time. So that's pretty cool. So just tell us briefly, what is purse.io?
All right. Well, like you said, Theo, Purse is a really great system where you can get a discount on Amazon just for spending Bitcoin. And the discounts can be pretty large. You can get 20% discounts. So I know everyone's tuning out. They're like, that's a scam. How can that be? That's not real. The way it works is that Amazon has these programs like Mechanical Turk. Mechanical Turk pays you in what kind of link is this? Mechanical Turk pays you in Amazon gift credit, right? So if you do work for Mechanical Turk, you could buy a lot of stuff on Amazon, which is really good. But at some point, you're like, I need to trade this gift credit for something else. And that's where Purse comes in. Purse allows you to place your wish list up and for you to put Bitcoins there. And then for other people to come along, accept your wish list, buy the stuff for you. Then when you receive your stuff, you click approve and it sends the Bitcoin to them. So Purse is an escrow service and they hold your Bitcoin as you spend it. And because of that, you can save 20% because it's easier for these people who have gift credit to take a 20% or sometimes even a 30% hit to get into Bitcoin, which they can then trade for normal currency, than it is to do anything else, to buy an iPod, have it sent to you, and then sell it. That kind of thing would take a lot of time. So that's basically it, where everyone wins. It's win, win, win. And it's a great thing. Everyone should try it out. I bought pretty much everything I have on Purse, 20% off or more. It takes a couple of extra days. You have to set up the Bitcoin systems, but we have an integration with Coinbase that makes it really easy once you're set up. And I'm going to be working on some how-to videos and some help files and that kind of thing to streamline the process and just get people spending. I just think we should spend Bitcoin. It's something Andreas said to me a long time ago. And I, of course, had the Bitcoin dollar signs in my eyes. I wanted to hold Bitcoin and have the value go way up. But he said, no, he said, just spend the Bitcoin. Just use it every day. Use it everywhere that you can. And I think more and more, that's the simplest way to get Bitcoin adoption is just to spend it. If you buy Bitcoin and then spend it, and then you buy more Bitcoin and you spend it, you buy more Bitcoin and you spend it, I really think that's the way. That's going to do it. That's going to lead to adoption.
Well, if it's to be used as a currency, it has to flow. And that's how it flows, is if it's spent. And eventually, when it's to a certain point, then, merchants will be able to buy wholesale whatever they're selling in Bitcoin, and then we'll have a closed Bitcoin economy. We're not there yet, but, Bitcoin is still pretty new. It's moving fast. So whenever that happens, then it would be a lot easier. Then we would have, the Bitcoin cycle of buying and selling and not having to go in and out of fiat so much, which is always the friction point, to be honest. As long as you're in Bitcoin, it's great. It's fast, it's easy to use, it's flowing all around, and it's crazy. But as soon as you got to go out to fiat, you've got all this friction, and it's even easier to go out to a gift card, a gift, or to buy something on Purse.io than it is to just cash out to cash. So anyway, that's what I always encourage people to also buy things. I know people that are, using gift, buying at Whole Foods, their groceries, or Target, or you could even, I was looking the other day, you could even buy stuff on Amazon. I mean, non-perishable. You can buy like a crate of, I don't know, whatever your favorite ramen noodles or whatever. I'm sure they have that on Amazon too, and you can get it delivered right to your house and minus 20%. So then you saved a bunch. That's pretty cool, actually.
And that's what I started to do, Theo. I buy everything on Amazon through Purse now. I get my green tea delivered, my mints, anything I can think of to order on there, I do. And the same thing, Fold app for coffee. You can get Starbucks gift cards at discounts. And it's just about spending this Bitcoin, keeping it fluid, having more people hear about it, because it is a chicken and an egg problem. A lot of people tried merchant adoption, going door to door, begging merchants to accept it. This can be useful. This can create places where we can spend Bitcoin in the real world. But the problem is that there isn't enough consumers to come back to these places to support these businesses. Most of them end up dropping the Bitcoin option because no one spends. So how do we solve that? Well, we get a lot of people to spend. And you just have to build it into your day that this is part of what you do. You spend some of your money in Bitcoin. You spend it online, you spend it at a store, you just spend it. And you recognize that this is spending money. And if you lost your spending money, if the value of Bitcoin went to $1 or something, it wouldn't be a big deal. And in the same way, if your spending money went to $1,000, it wouldn't be a big deal. You could just buy some more stuff. So I really think spending is the way to go.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to the end of the program, Bitcoin Blab. This is the last call for questions, or if you would like to have a seat and ask Thomas Hunt, aka Mad Bitcoins, a question live on air, now is your chance. Here we go. Wood, I used Purse after paying for Bitcoin with the markup, then buying the item. I only managed to save. He managed to save around 30%, which is pretty good. Only around 30.
Looks like
3%. Oh, excuse me, I misread.
Yeah, so,
whoops. That's zero. Thomas, address this.
All right. I'm betting that it was probably your first time to Purse, so you probably used Purse Instant, which is only a 5% discount. So I'm going to agree with you. That's not that great a discount. It is instant though, right? So Purse Instant, Purse actually orders the item for you. You get free 2-day shipping. So if you need the item right away, use Purse Instant. Otherwise, it's a little more complicated, but what you have to do is add the item to your Amazon wish list, copy and paste the wish list address into Purse. Then you'll get into the name your own discount system. The name your own discount is more of a marketplace. So if it's something that you need right away, Purse Instant. If it's something you need in a couple days, couple weeks, you can put it out on the marketplace, and this allows you to set the discount level. You can set it at 20%, 30%, even 50%. It might not go. You might end up lowering it slowly each week until you find a buyer, but I think you'll get a pretty good discount. You should try it again. But even still, 3% for not a lot of work. You didn't have to lift anything heavy. It's still a discount. So anything helps, right?
Sure. 3% is also what you get at the competitor gift for the gift card. So that seems like a pretty standard for, using.
And it's very similar to a credit card reward system. If you used a credit card reward, you get maybe 1% cash back, 2%, threes, it's in there. So there is a reward for spending Bitcoin, and that's what we're doing at Purse. I encourage people to spend Bitcoin anywhere. Anyone that takes it directly, spend it with them. We take it at Nakamoto's store. All of the artists take it. It's down at 20 Mission in the Mission. It's also part of Purse. But just spending, people need to be spending, moving this money around. And Purse gives you a discount and incentive for spending. So if you needed a reason to spend, we're trying to give that to you. And I encourage all these other companies, Gift, Fold app. These are all cool companies that are doing the same thing, encouraging you to spend Bitcoin.
Definitely. And I also look at the, I'm sorry, Thomas, what do you call it again? Market wish list. What was it called again?
Like a marketplace?
Name your discount. I look at that.
Yeah.
I always tell people it's kind of like an order book. I mean, I don't see the order book like at the exchange exactly, but it essentially works in a similar way. I'm putting a limit order. I want my discount to be 32%. And it's like at this thing. And it's just the Purse order matching machine is looking to match that discount just like it would at the exchange. Now, if I have my 51, I might not get filled right away, but there might be a day where there's a lot of demand and, so if there's a lot of volume on your guys, then the 50% might get filled that day. Maybe a guy can do like a market order and say, just fill me with whatever is available. You know what I mean? That's basically what they're doing. And then, the 50% one might get filled. So that could be a funny little lottery ticket you do, if you don't care about how long it takes, right? You just put the 50% one in there and then maybe you're lucky and that gets filled and then you're happy. You got it for 50% off.
And I've done that, Theo, for items that maybe you wouldn't buy unless they were really cheap. I was like, well, I'd buy that if it was half price. I'd throw it out there, and if somebody picks it up, great. If not, it's no big deal. I just have a little bit of Bitcoin that are waiting around for someone to buy them. Woody writes back, he says, in the UK, he can't buy Bitcoin directly without paying above the market price. So there are some other options. Maybe you can try Circle. I'm not sure if that's available in the UK. Like we were talking to the guy earlier, you could try earning the Bitcoin, put a QR code on whatever you do, put an address on your webpage or blog, put the word out there that you're looking for some money and that you provide a service, whatever your service is. So there's a lot of options. But yeah, I think you have to have the Bitcoin to begin with to spend it, or you could buy it at Coinbase or some other places. Basically, the fee on Coinbase is still much below the discount that you get on Purse. So another arbitrage opportunity, perhaps. I don't know. A lot of stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, I think what you're saying is there is some work in it, but if I did the chain fiat as a US dollar to Coinbase with my bank account, buy Bitcoin, then send the Bitcoin over to Purse, put in my order for at least 20% off and wait, then I would get a much better, even with the fees at Coinbase and the small transaction fee for the Bitcoin network, I'm still way making a big discount as opposed to just, I don't know, going from dollars on my credit card to Coinbase to Amazon or even with Prime, or I don't know, whatever other small discounts they have. I'm still way better off. Okay, it's maybe not as fast if I need it right away, but as long as I don't need it right away, I can get a really big discount. So that's what I think is really cool. And that's really a good idea. And that's what is cool also about Purse is that, yeah, it just opens up the possibilities. It's not like a niche store where only ramen noodles or only tea. They have everything. I mean, you have basically anything that you could think of, you can buy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, not illegal stuff, even though it is Bitcoin, but anything you can buy on Amazon, in your country legally is available. And that is really a lot of stuff. So that's good.
And I think there's a lot of shoppers who are going to want to take that extra work, who are going to want to learn how to use Coinbase, because that's really it. And even with Coinbase, you said the miner fee, you don't have to pay the miner fee because Purse is directly connected to Coinbase. So they just send the money within Coinbase's system.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And we also have we have a little button that'll auto connect it. And for certain purchases under around $200, it'll automatically take the money from Coinbase and spend the money for you on Purse. So it is a way, just again, spending money. Don't put more of your money into it than you want, but it's great.
And also earn money before you spend it. Don't overspend, ladies.
Yeah.
That's not where.
Don't just steal it. Earn it.
All right. Okay, I'm going to close out this blab, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for staying with us. And that was Bitcoin Blab number 1. Bitcoin Blab number 2 will be next week at the same time with special guests to be announced. Thanks for watching.